Hey, what's good YouTube? Antiyami here, back with another video, and today we're going to be going over my deck profile I took for locals on Friday, and I got second place. I lost to Trey in finals. He was playing Sprites, Runix, and yeah, we're not going to talk about how I ultimately lost one of the games, but hey, it is what it is. So anyway, I want to go ahead and kind of like hop into the deck. I probably won't go into like ultra details. I'm still revamping the deck because this is like before the new like support, and now I'm gonna probably add new support to this deck to make it a lot stronger. I have already been testing a lot of new things in the deck, and I've been liking it thus far. But this is the list I was running for the tournament. So my first round I went against Herb, a guy that I used to look up to back in the day, like when I first got into Yu-Gi-Oh! My very first game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Ever was versus him, and I bought me a structure deck from Target. It was a Gemini structure deck back in like, I don't know, like 2009 or something like that, something crazy, whatever. Whenever Infernity was like the best deck, whatever, and he beat me with Infernities. Like, he went first and destroyed me, and from there I was hooked on the game. So he was playing Monarch Branded, which was pretty interesting. I won that, of course. Then in the second round, I went against Photon Galaxy, won that. Then in my third round, I went against, I forget his name. I think his name was like Otis or something like that. I forget. But he was playing Pendulum. He was playing the Endymion Pendulum, and that was very, very fun. So went X1, of course. Again, second place, lost to Trey. And without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the deck profile because it is a spicy list. And I'm going to go ahead and say this right now. I think I have like one of the best builds of Spellbook Dogmatica in the world. I mean, I'm really that confident that this is like one of the best builds. It can get better, of course, but I feel like out of all the videos on YouTube, I feel like this is going to be the number one pick. And it's only going to get better from here. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we're going to play 3 Spellbook of Prophecy. Obviously, he's your starter, the best normal summon of the deck. Pretty much the only normal summon, unless your hand is really weird. But yeah, you want to get into this card because this helps you search Judgment Day if your hand is set for it. If not, it's just like secrets into masters, and you know, play from there. But yeah, very important card. You really need to play 3. Another Honorary Spellbook card. I forgot to mention this. I'm gonna go in order of like engines. So these are gonna be all the Spellbook cards here, and I think Jalgan is the honorary Spellbook card because you pretty much end on him if you resolve Judgment. Of course, going into the spells here, we have triple secrets. I mean, there's no secret that you need to be playing 3 of these. This is like by far one of the best cards in the deck, and it's very, very, very good. And next, I play Triple Knowledge. Now, I do not agree with this. I decided to bump this to 3 at the very last second because it's one of those cards where you don't need a spellcaster to be face up, and you can just kind of activate almost at any point. The problem with this is there's been multiple times in tournament I'll open like 2 of these, and they can't send each other for effect. And a lot of times I do draw into like multiples. I'll activate one, I draw into another one, and another card is not very great. So like this card it's just better at 2. It's better when you search it. It's okay to open it, but it's not like a very strong starter at times. So I do recommend playing that card at 2. Next, I will play Spellbook of Fate. Spellbook of Fate, really, really good. You could technically play 1, but that requires you to play like a really weird like recycle game. It's really good to like search 1, and then on the follow-up search another one, and if the game goes longer, then you can use Tower and Eternity to like obviously infinitely recycle these. So I just like Fate. I just like sometimes drawing into this card is cool because sometimes drawing into like spellbook cards helps other spellbook hands be really strong. But yeah, I like Spellbook of Fate at 2, but you could play it at 1. Honestly, this card that should have never came off the list, I feel like it should never came off the list, is Spellbook of Judgment. It's really insane. It's crazy. I'm not sure why it came back, but yeah, it's a very strong card. What makes this deck really degenerate and powerful. So yeah, very good. Spellbook of Tower, Spellbook of Eternity. We play Life because there's a combo where you can actually get into your Dogmatica cards. 1 Power and 1 Master. Now, you don't really need to play Power. I like Power because it's just a really strong card. But you don't necessarily need to play it. But it comes up from time to time. But it's one of those cards that you could definitely cut for another card. And it's really strong on the follow-up with Judgment to help you like go for OTKs and stuff. But yeah, it comes up time from time. And there's been times where I go Power, activate Masters, target Power to get like a double boost. And you get a double search, which sometimes come up, but not all the time. So that's it for the Spellbook stuff. Going into the Dogmatica package, I play 1 of each of the Knight, Ecclesia, and Maximus. This is pretty much all you really need because you can recycle them. They're really easily like searchable, and you don't want to open up too many of them. And that's all you really need. Open up too many of those cards can be like breaky. So I think 1 of each is perfect. And one of the other best cards in the deck, which is the Endeared Servant. The Endeared Servant is basically, it's a lot of things. It's like an engage, it's like an imperm with a search. It's a search or a recycler that allows you to do like 9 different things once we get to the extra deck. But this card is like insane. If you open this card, you just feel like a god. One of the best cards to open. And of course the automatic Dogmatica cards, you got Schism and Punishment. Punishment is just a really good card. And Schism helps you get into Winda. It's basically Jowgen 2.0 when Jowgen gets outed. And a lot of players do play like Dark Rulers No More and stuff like that. And they'll play into a Winda. So it's really hard to out both. It's really insane. Going into the Soul package, we play 2 Souls, 2 Legion of Chaos. I like this ratio the best. The fact that you could dump this card off of Souls and it's like never really a brick, and seeing Souls in his deck is really insane because he's a really strong extender. Going back into the more like the Soul package, like you play this because of Souls and other cards too, but I mainly play it because of Souls. Restage is like a really insane card, and I think it's very underrated, and I'm very happy it is getting an upgrade into like an ultra rare printing, but it's really strong. It's a revival. It's not once per turn, which is the best part. It's not once per turn, and you summon Souls, activate Restage, bring back Souls when you link it off for an Artemis, and then you go into a free Crowley. But before you even do that, you want to send this card off to the graveyard to draw a card. And then you can search either the right hand or left hand. You search this going first in game 1. And then in games 2 and 3, you will search left hand to be evenly. And I guess sometimes imperm or some random trap cards. But mostly I play this to be evenly matched because evenly matched seems to be very popular. So it's a really cool out. And then kind of like really cool like other cards. By the way, this deck is 40. Insta Fusion, really cool because that gets into your illusion, or I'm sorry, your Millenniumize, and having Millenniumize in the loop is crazy. Call by the Grave to pretty much beat Droll, because Droll is now popular again. Insta Fusion is also another card that like acts as a second Call by the Grave, which is really strong. And triple droplets to help me go second. And that's it for the deck. Straight 40. We're gonna go into the extra deck because I feel like that's the most interesting. So extra deck, we play 1 Artemis, and this is just the links by the way. 1 Artemis, 1 Dark, 1 Crowley, 1 Selene, and 1 Access Code Talker for game. So I didn't miss any of these cards. These cards were like perfect with their ratios. I think they're really good. This helps you with plussing off the spellbook stuff. This is actually a really big beater in this deck because a lot of the monsters in this deck are really small. And also taking other people's darks and stuff and going into like a Celine into like Axis Code is really strong. And Artemis is literally a vanilla, but she is really, really, really strong in this deck because it helps you put an extra deck monster on board, which helps your Dogmatic package. So that's really strong. Cards that we technically don't summon. This is the Synchro package. Arclight, really, really strong. Helps you search out Illusion if you really need him. And Omega, it's an amazing card. If it gets really into like grind games and stuff, you can like hit cards back from your graveyard back into your either extra deck or into your main deck, and then like search it again. Comes up a lot basically in grind games if they somehow out the Jalgan and we're going back and forth. And also it can disrupt your opponent's graveyard as well by shuffling cards back into their deck. Like for example, if DPE was still a thing, you can actually just dump this off of Maximus and shuffle back DPE. So cool. Next, the XYZs. We have Totally Awesome, and I'm gonna try to say his name right. It's Miralogic Aggregator. It's the card that came in a new set of Darkwing Blast, and I read it randomly and I was like, wait a minute, this card gets an effect in the graveyard, which is crazy. So it could turn a Dear Servant into an Imperm, which comes up a lot in the tier element matchup, especially since they're going for the root Kalos. So you can actually negate that, so you can actually summon your Maximus when you activate the Dear Servant, which is really cool. And you don't want to blow it up because it'll just bring itself back, and it basically does nothing. And Toad brings back Blue Boy from the graveyard, so it's really, really cool. Going into the fusions, we have the one Millenniumize, Restrict, one Garua, one Winda, one Alkalon for the Shaddoll package, one Titanic Clad, and one Intis. And that's going to wrap it up for the extra deck. Quickly going into the side deck. We play triple Ultimate Slayers. This card is like a guard card going, second. It's so good because you have so many different targets, and I feel like this is the best card in this deck. Like, this card does not work for any other deck as well as this deck. It's really insane. And for the Splight matchup, I do siding this. Yes, I do side in like a brick in this card. So a lot of times I might take out like the Shaddoll package. So I'll probably take out like a Winda and put this in place of the Winda. And I'll put this in for, whatever. And if you open up Ultimate Slayers versus Splites, you pretty much automatically win because this deck just gets so many advantages. There's other like Link decks you could probably hit. I mean, I guess you want to try like Sky Strikers or whatever, but I auto win versus Sky Strikers most of the time, so pick your poison on that. Another instant win button, which why I like the Despia matchup, and I also like the Runic matchup. Especially when Runics combine themselves with Splites, it makes it that much easier because if I just activate this card, like literally 80% of their decks are like shut down, so it's really, really strong. That's a card for going first. Another field spell for going second is Mystic Mind, because I can play around Mystic Mind very, very well. I don't lose to this card at all, and there's a lot of clever plays you can play with it. And since Konami want to keep this card for some odd reason, we're gonna play it. Another really strong card for going second is Evenly Match. Evenly Match is just really strong for cards or against decks that don't really like play any Omni Negates. I don't typically play this versus Splites because sometimes they can end on the carrot because my deck is mostly spells. So I usually don't typically put this versus Splites. I usually put in like the Mystic Minds, and I also put in the Ultimate Slayers. But yeah, it's just really good versus back row decks. It's very good versus control decks, stuff like that. So it's really good. And last but not least, we have Harpy Feather Duster. Wrapping up for the cards in the side deck. All right, guys. But if you guys have any questions, let me know. I can do tutorial combos and stuff like that, like test hands, if you guys ever want to see that. Like, this deck is really complicated, but it's really fun because I feel like it's more tailored to like the way I play. But I think it has pretty good potential to be like a threat in the meta game. But I still think it's probably like on the low end of a tier 2 deck. It has a lot of weaknesses, and as you can tell, like the deck does play like a handful of, like, I wouldn't say like bricks, but it's like a lot of awkward hands. So like if you get a hand trap once in like an awkward hand, it can kind of like end your turn. And plus Droll is such a strong card, so if you get Droll at any point, it's pretty much like GG's unless you have the call by or instant fusion. So But yeah, that's the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.